Hello America, tonight we want to tell you the truth about our financial state.
You mean no one has told us the truth about our money? Our government has injected trillions of dollars into the economy and it has not worked. If someone is lying, we need accountability.
There is no accountability in our system. It is no longer based upon merit because it is no longer based upon sound money, which is derived from the faith that mankind puts in each other. In fact, money is nothing more than the confidence that people have in it when they exchange it for something they desire.
You mean money is not worth anything but what I think it is worth?
Exactly. No more and no less. Even if your money is sound money like gold or silver, it is still not worth more than what it is graded for at the time the trade is made. In the desert, an ounce of gold is worthless compared to a container of water. When your child is sick, an ounce of gold is worthless compared to the bubblegum medicine it can buy. It is a store of value because we don't walk this earth with a pharmacy in our pocket or an unlimited supply of things we want or need.
But how is it created? Who is behind the changes in what money can buy?
That is the thing. It is no one person. Free markets. But central banks operate the banking system in a cartel-like way, just like OPEC. They limit and inject paper money under the circumstances they think are best for us. They are not elected and their history goes back a long time. Their track record is not so good in terms of benefiting the masses. But we depend on them to have confidence in things like dollars, euros, yen, won, and other paper money. But paper comes from trees and is almost limitless in supply. They steal our labor and make us slaves to debt, and the only thing they do is push buttons on their computer systems and conjure cash into the books. In the past, they at least had to print something on paper. Money is worth no more than the paper promise. I do not trust the promises of others lately because they have no moral accountability. So I advise going to gold and silver because you cannot print that.
Why is the lack of gold backing bad for money?
Because all sorts of money creation problems come up when there is nothing tangible to the cash. Money mechanics are simple. They are so simple that it is mind-blowing. Ever wonder why there are over 8,000 banks? Well, it is all about creating money to lend. Without borrowing, the Ponzi scheme collapses.
What Ponzi scheme?
Let's say I give you $1,000 cash. You deposit it in Chase Bank. They owe you $1,000. But they don't have to keep all the cash deposited with them at the bank. They lend it out. They only have to keep the reserve requirement for withdrawals. It is about 10%. So after you deposit the $1,000, Chase can lend it to me. Let's say I have a Chase credit card and I swipe it at Best Buy for a $900 television. I do so and the seller now has a check from Chase for $900. Let's say he deposits that into Citibank. How much money was just created from the $1,000 I gave you to deposit? So far Chase owes you $1,000 and Chase paid Citi $900. Now Citi can lend out $821 of that to some other person who buys a stereo and the seller deposits that at another bank, and so on and so on. If Best Buy deposited that first $900 for the television back at Chase, if Chase was his bank, then Chase has to pony up the money for him. But there are 8,500 banks to choose from. This money supply is cash created by the banking system. When people stop borrowing from the bank, this cash is not created and the economy dies a horrible death. That is why the Federal Reserve pumps in money by the trillion.
Do you mean that when I borrow from the bank they create the money out of thin air?
Sort of. If money had gold backing, then no one could get away with that. This is why the Constitution says that only gold and silver can be money. If the Founding Fathers saw this, they would encourage rebellion this instant. But we are too fat and stupid and would rather watch television and play Nintendo. It is no wonder that we are on the decline. What is worse is that as they print trillions of dollars into existence, the world is losing confidence in the dollar. Indeed, so are we as citizens. That is why gold keeps going up so fast. Silver too. The danger is that the world could reject the dollar as a reserve currency because we keep printing it. That could lead to financial and societal doomsday.
How? Why would that lead to doomsday?
If we could not buy internationally with dollars, our economy would die. We could not get oil and other required raw materials to continue anything near our current lifestyle. Everything depends on energy, for example. If the power systems can no longer operate because we have no oil, then the grid may shut down. Without electricity, we would be in ruin. Millions of people in the cities would have no food and water. That would bring out the worst among us, and the riots would be terrible. No one would be able to stop that. We would not be able to have this civilized talk if both of us skipped 7 meals in a row.
No food. No water. How can that be?
Because our system requires a complicated network of things moving around correctly. It can easily be disrupted. Without oil, for example, there would be no trucks delivering. Most of the things we buy at the store come from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. There would be no system that could fill that gap. Substantial numbers of people would go hungry. How long would you put up with a lack of baby formula before you started exploring options? What about water? These systems are pumped electrically. Cities like New York get water from hundreds of miles away. People are no longer self-sufficient. They would not know how to get water from open sources and make it safe to drink. The health system would be overrun with sick people. You think this is a fantasy? This happens when complex systems break down. We have no education for the people that teaches self-sufficiency, so they would wait for help to arrive. And no help will arrive, and they will riot and burn the places to the ground, taking water and food from each other until there is no more. Try skipping 7 meals and viewing this video again. It would change your perception, I assure you.
But we have huge farms. They could feed the people.
Modern farming does not work without electric irrigation, oil for tractors, and diesel for trucking logistics. Crops would rot in the fields.
This is frightening me. What should I do?
You should explore on the internet while there is still time. People publish information on how to provide for yourself and family. The basics are food, water, shelter, heat and protection. Learn about this topic. Store a year's supply of food if you can. Learn all you can while there still is time.
So I need to store food, have access to water, be able to shelter myself and protect my family from those who would steal from me? That sounds very far-fetched. How possible is a collapse of the dollar?
These things happened. Germany in '20s had people burning marks for warmth. Zimbabwe recently printed a $1 trillion bill. You can buy 3 chicken eggs with it. Argentina had hyperinflation as well. Study the outcome in these cases and make an informed decision. But bear in mind that in these cases there was always the dollar to backstop the slide. In Zimbabwe there was a black market in dollars. Same for the other examples. I do not trust that anyone will help the USA if it happened here. I fear that the charity we give the world will never return to us. They would see this as our fault, and many nations will relish our decline.
Well, perhaps a food storage program makes sense. I'll get started. There is a program called eFoods Global. Visit the website insanedebt.efoodsglobal.com to get free storage food that can be shelf-stable for up to 15 years. insanedebt.efoodsglobal.com. This program can help store food and make great money as well. insanedebt.efoodsglobal.com. Visit and follow through to get free storage food. insanedebt.efoodsglobal.com. insanedebt.efoodsglobal.com